Warm-up number 1. Find the zeros for the polynomial below. So in order to find the zeros, we are looking for the x-intercepts. And so in order to do that, I'm going to use synthetic division and this idea of P over Q. Okay? And so remember P is your factors for positive 5. So plus or minus 1 or plus or minus 5. Okay? Divide that by your factors for Q, and that's just the coefficient in front of your leading term, and so since there's no number there, it's 1, so it's just plus or minus 1, because 1 times 1 is 1. So I'm going to randomly pick an x value, and then randomly pick a P and then Q. So I'm going to first try positive 1 and then positive 1 and see if that works. So I have 1. So 1, 5, 1, 5. Bring down the 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 times 1 is 7. And then that is 12. So that is not a factor because my remainder is not 0. So for my next try, I'm going to just try negative 5. And remember, this is just purely random. There's no, I don't know a shortcut to it. So 1, 5, 1, 5. Bring down the 1. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. 0. Negative 5 times 0 is 0. 1 plus 0 is 1. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. And that is 0. So that means that minus 5 is one of my x-intercepts. So if I put it back into as a factor, that's x plus 5, because remember it changes signs. And then this is 1x squared, because if this is x to the third, then this is 1 less, plus 0x plus 1. And so now I have to try to factor this. So I'm going to try to think what two numbers multiplied together. So 1 times 1, and then it has to give me 0 in the middle, but I can't factor it with guess and check or with the X method, so that means I have to use the quadratic formula. And please remember that you could use the quadratic formula anytime you would like. Anytime you have an x squared, you can use it. So I'm going to use the quadratic formula over here. So I have negative b, and remember this is my a value, this is my b value, and then this is my c value. So I have b is 0, so that's minus 0, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that is 0 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 1, all over 2 times a, which is 1. So now if I simplify that further, that's 0 plus or minus, so it's just plus or minus the square root, and then 0 squared is 0, minus 4 times 1 times 1, so that's just negative 4, all over 2, And then I know that I can't have this negative square root, or negative under the square root, sorry. So I'm going to make it positive. And when I make it positive, then an I is going to be out there in the front. Okay, so now I have I times the square root of 4 over 2. And so that's plus or minus I, and then I know the square root of 4 is 2, so that's 2I divided by 2. And it doesn't matter if you say I times 2 or 2I, and then 2 divided by 2 is 1, so that's plus or minus I. So that's one factor, or 2 of my x-intercepts are my zeros, and this is the other one.